Good morning, rest seekers. I'm Peggy Norwood Stella, here to share with you some gentle, easy moves. Today, focusing on the hips, the pelvis, and opening up in that area enough so that we can feel the difference in terms of our center of gravity, in terms of our balance. How do we align to that center of gravity? What shifts and changes? There's just so much to explore. But what I want to do is just have you barefoot, just barefoot on the floor, so that you can just play around with this move a little bit. We can continue to explore from this point, but what we're going to do is we're simply going to practice standing, shifting our body weight from one leg to the other, and feeling the differences in the body and what happens in the body and how we can create that. Okay? Super. So these particular gentle, easy moves I found have been super helpful, especially for folks with knee pain. One of the reasons is that quite often when people are locked into the hips, really short, shortness here at the hip flexors or tightness here at the hip flexors, they'll tend to be slightly forward. And then what happens is the knees are getting more pressure from the body being in a more forward tilted position. More pressure goes onto the knees, as opposed to if the hips are in a neutral position and you've got more freedom of motion from the legs. And you'll see this as we do this particular move. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to lower this down a little bit so that hopefully you can see my feet. I know this is odd angle, but hopefully you'll be able to see what my feet are doing. And I simply want us to stand, just stand. And feel your contact with the floor as you're standing here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to think of elongating the spine, and we're going to gently lift the hips, engaging the transverse abdominis. And at the same time, we're going to be playing with our contact with the floor. So on an inhale, what I'd like for you to think about is that zip up motion. So just take a nice inhale and think of just gently lifting the pubic bone forward and upward. So we're getting that kind of a motion, forward and upward with the pubic bone, forward and upward with the hip bones. And the engagement comes simply from right in the transverse abdominis. We do not do this pelvic tilt by squeezing the glutes from behind and forcing the hips forward. Instead, this is just a gentle lifting from in front. So in this standing position, inhale, I want you to think zip, stay nice and aligned, and think of floating right through the top of the head. And then we're going to bend the knee. We're going to change the center of gravity, bending the knee on one side. And I want you to feel the hips shift to the other leg, so that the pelvis, actually, is the hip's going to drop on the bent leg side, and it's going to slide outward towards this side. And you can see this. Do you see the wrinkles on my shirt heading in that direction? And so now I'm going to simply inhale, and I'm going to push down on that bent leg, push down, straighten that leg, inhale, come back to that neutral position in the middle where the hips are lifting, right? And then bend the knee and allow the weight to settle and shift on the other side. Look, and you can see again, the wrinkles in the shirt are showing you that I've shifted in that direction. I've shortened the distance between the rib cage and the hips on the standing side, and then on the free side, the bent knee, look, we're off. And so when you get pretty good at this, let's try this again. Now let's put the whole foot down, press into the floor, straighten that leg, come back to center. Inhale. Bend the opposite knee, exhale. And if you've really allowed the hip to settle, you've actually changed your alignment over the standing leg, and you've got freedom of motion in that bent knee. And I can just put that right back down. I'm going to put it back down and press into it. When I press down, that's going to lift, right? It lifts upward, and then shifting back to center. There's the neutrality. You see it in my shirt again. And inhale, exhale, bending this knee, and allow the hips to shift to the other side. And again, if you really allowed that shifting and settling, you've got freedom of motion with that standing leg. Won't change your balance. And put it back down. So there's just different way of checking your balance all the time. One way of doing this is by allowing the hip to settle and aligning everything up on top of that standing leg. Now we're going to change that center of gravity. We're going to change that alignment because we're going to now press down into that, press down, straightening that leg. Good, coming back to center. Here we are in neutral, back in center again. The shirt straight down. Inhale, bending that opposite knee. Exhale, and allow the hips to swing and settle. Again, you can just watch. You can watch the folds in the t-shirt, and you can see it might even be easier to see than the bent knee. Inhale, we are going to, and when I think lift, it's like press. Inhale, lift, come through that neutral position right in the center, well aligned, hips supported. Bend the opposite knee, exhale, and down we go. Inhale, press and lift. So we're lengthening from the floor to the crown of the head. Exhale, and shorten, allow it to shift. Inhale, lift, right? Press, lift, and lengthen. Exhale, bending the knee, and settle. Very nice. Let's come right back one more time. Press, bring it back to center, and just relax for a moment. Because now I'm going to shift just a little bit. So we're going, and so you can see me a little bit differently, but what we're going to actually do is we're going to take that free leg and step backwards so that we can challenge ourselves from a different point of view. So if starting in the standing position, I'm going to inhale, exhale, bend one knee and settle. I now have that free leg. I can take the toes and just place them right behind me. So we're not stepping back, just place the toes right there. And now I want you to play with straightening that leg. And see what happens. As you straighten that leg, you may have a couple of things happen. You may feel the upper body moving forward. That would make sense, right? Because we've just changed, right? The hips are moving towards that leg, so you may come forward with this. Go ahead, bend, and now bend the knee and settle. Go ahead. Straighten the knee, feel what, straighten that knee, and see if you can roll. Now that we've played, roll the foot down to the floor and see what, see, look at this. My hips shifted to that leg. And now in order for me to be able to go back forward, I haven't settled. In order to go back forward, I'm going to lift the heel, press into the ball of the foot, and send the, right? Send the hip back over the standing leg. Exhale, bend the knee and settle. Let's try it again. So, straighten that leg. Inhale, think of lengthening. See, can you put that heel down? Good. If you exhale, you might actually feel the body weight settle on that leg. Now, pressing through the stand, press through, lift, push into the ball of the foot, and feel it. It's going to lift the hip, and I want you to slide the pelvis forward onto the standing leg. Bend that knee. So we're going to just play with this a little bit again. So straighten the leg, feel what happens. You're going to feel that hip, follow that leg. So now the body has turned a little bit, and now push it back and bend the knee. As you step back, you're going to see the hip follow and place the heel down. Press into the ball of the foot. Settle and bring it forward. So let me turn and just show it the other way. This is like this. All this is doing is bringing our attention into one, the shifting of the hips over our base of support, but it's also just a chance to kind of coax the psoas, that connecting piece between the lower body and the upper body, to coax it into movement, a little bit of movement, a little bit of awareness. It's all helpful for us. So inhale, here we go. We're going to try it on the other leg. Inhale up, exhale, bend the knee, settle on, right? Settle on one leg. Then you can take the toes, slide them just slightly behind you. And now we're going to just straighten that back leg and place the heel down. And see just how the hips are going to follow that motion. And then we reverse it from the floor. Press. Hips. Good. That lifts the hips. It brings it forward. And settle. So, again, we're all in alignment. We've got a free leg, toes behind. And straighten that leg. This is excellent. Again, this opens up the back of the knee. This also helps for knee issues. Opening up the back of the knee, really challenging that stretch across the back of the knee, challenging the calf. Heel down and allow the hips to follow. And then press into that ball of the foot and just reverse it. And play with that a little while. Straighten, shift it back, push, shift it forward. Good, and that knee is bent now. See how the knee is bent and free. Place it up on, just place it up underneath you. Go back to neutral, walk around just a little bit. Walk around just a little. So we're going to play with this one more time, just one more way. We're going to play with it. Coming into, again, coming into our neutral. This time, inhale, inhale, really. Think of lengthening through the crown of the head. And you're going to now, and then you're going to bend, exhale, exhale, bend one, bend it, and settle. And again, right? Again, you can see that swoosh to that side. Now that I've settled, I can take this free foot and I can place the toes just in front of me. Just place the ball, good. Place the ball of the foot right in front of you. And now, when you can place that heel down. And when you place that heel down, I want you to see, play with what just happened here. See? Play with it. You just felt that, look, that hip. As you put the heel down, the hip lowered. Heel, hip up as you pressed into the ball of foot. Heel down. Heel up. Heel down. And now Let's come off of this. Now we're going to practice. We're going to challenge ourselves a little bit. We're going to push off of the back leg, lift that heel, push, and let that heel slide forward onto that leg. And then you can release and settle. Wow. And let's reverse it. Straighten. Heel down. Good. Push into the ball of the foot. Sending that hip. Good. Bring it right in. And bend the opposite knee. Here we go. Just place that ball of the foot forward on the opposite leg. Heel down. Put the heel down, and you're going to just feel when you put that heel down. Feel what happens when you push into the ball of the foot. Feel what happens. Heel goes down. You'll feel the hip lower, your shoulders lower. And press. This is just playing with gravity. Heel down, heel up. Heel down, heel up. Heel down. Good. And now we're going to shift from the back leg to the front leg. Lifting the heel behind, press into the ball of the foot. There's that act. Pressing into the ball of the foot. You have to move into the floor to displace the hip. So now you'll see it lifts, and you can actually move it forward onto the standing leg from the floor. Bending that knee, letting it settle. Bring that foot underneath you, back to neutral. Whew. And let it go. So you can see as going through some of these moves, as you shift the weight with full attention to how it feels in contact with the floor, to where the hips are going. There's just a whole lot that's going to be going on in the body. But what you're doing is you're just asking the body to play around with you and show you, if I put my heel down, what's going to happen in my hip? If I shift that or push that, or you just see, you can literally dance with gravity here. And all I'm asking you to do is simply use those shifts of weight for you to see what happens as you move forward, as you move back, as you move side to side. And you'll begin to see that this motion, the motion right here in the center of the body, is what allows us to connect to the floor, and our ability to balance ourselves, and our ability to actually move with freedom and not be afraid of falling so much, is the ability to be able to make those small, fine adjustments, and to teach your body that it can, you can do it without having to do it at a conscious level. But if you spend enough time here at this conscious level, it will begin to drop into your body. Then you find yourself in a place where you're losing your balance. You have some of those tools that your body can hold on to, can grasp and hold on to. So we're doing one for our, it's for just for our confidence in our bodies to be able to go about our day-to-day. Especially if you've gotten to a place in your body where you're really kind of afraid of doing certain things because you're afraid of falling and getting hurt, then one of the best things you can do is to begin to retrain that balance in the body. And that's learning all about, and again, that's learning how to align. So you'll see that what I'm teaching about balance and alignment and movement readily translates to our ability to rest, to be able to move with gravity, right, efficiently, properly, is going to impact us, because if we are in tension, if we are fighting with gravity, we're exhausting ourselves. And if you can't find that place of alignment, balance, and relaxation, then you're losing energy into that tension. So there's multiple purposes here. You can see why we're doing what we're doing. But slowing things down in the body, slowing the movement down and really starting to pay attention to it is a beautiful way for you to begin to relearn movement very naturally. This is something that we did, as infants. I mean, we were playing, when we learned to move and we learned to walk, we were constantly trying and playing with gravity. So we're just kind of going back to that point as grown-ups and playing in the body. Again, this is not working out. This is playing in the body, not working out the body. Workout comes, you can start thinking about exercise or doing yoga or doing Pilates, the things that that you're wanting to do with your body that you think would be a lot of fun, but you've got to go back to these basic movements and understanding a little bit better about your own balance and alignment and where you are in space, so that you can go do those things with confidence and with a lot less risk of injury. So thanks so much for joining me here today. We just played with gravity, we played in our bodies. You're going to just keep playing with what it's like to bend and straighten the legs, to feel the hips shift from side to side, to push into the floor, and feel how all those different movements impact you in your body and how you can adjust with them. Okay? That's super. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you find it helpful. I think these balance challenges are just great for any and everybody, but particularly as we grow older, we really do want to challenge our balance. So I will see you again next week for our Monday moves. In the meantime, let me know whether you caught this live or on a replay. And please, please let me know how this feels in your body. If there's any particular challenges with you, I'm happy to help. And if you just kind of put those into the comments section or send me a private message, either way, I'll get back with you, give you some suggestions about what you can try to address those challenges. So meanwhile, have a beautiful week, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.